Bengals taking on the Detroit Lions. We'll talk about this coming up next on the Wincinnati podcast.
Coming up on the Wincinnati podcast.
Hello, world. Wincinnati. You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
It's a new beginning. You know what that means, right?
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the Bengals.
Welcome to the Wincinnati podcast. I am Ace. He is Zim. We are here to continue talking about the Bengals season. Unfortunately for us, it has been filled with ups and downs. If the Bengals season were to end today, they would actually still be the 6th seed. So we still have to talk about the season. We still have to look for things to analyze. We still have to give you guys our input on things. And we're, going to make sure that we're giving you guys top tier analysis when it comes down to it. But partner, how you doing tonight?
I'm okay. I'm here. It's like, nah. I'm happy, man, to, be able to rock out and do the show with you. But I was just telling you before the show comes on, it is just very different not to have that level of confidence that I want. Watching the Bengals come off probably the worst offensive performance I've ever seen, maybe in Bengals history, or that Dalton Thursday night game. Like, that's got to be up there. Like, we should do that, like a top 10 Bengals worst games of all time. Like, that one right there should be in there, bro. That was awful. That was hard to watch. I don't know how much you want to spend talking about that game, but like defensively, I thought they looked okay at first, but they got gassed out there Mile High, getting cooked. No defensive pressure is like probably the number one flaw, I think, on the team. But offensively, it's just everything. Like, they have the talent, we know, but it's bad. It's really bad. Like that. I've always said this season, I say, man, we have the worst run game, but now offense in its totality, it is currently ranked 32nd in pretty much every metric you can name. If you would have asked me before the season, what did I think about this Bengals team? I'd be like, bro, I think we're a number one offense. Boy, was I wrong, because we're absolutely the worst offense in the NFL. And the sad part about it is, like our last show, we were talking about quarterbacks and stuff. Bengals have put no waiver claim in, no trade, anything, none of that. And so it makes you feel like, what would change?
Yeah, I mean, you could have an argument. You kind of talked about the top 10 worst Bengals games. I mean, I think the last two are in there, right? Because those were very bad games. I agree with you. I think from an offensive standpoint, it's crazy. This is a team that was, top 5, top 2 in passing offense, top 5 in overall offense, to not being able to generate anything. And I get it. The biggest thing that stuck out to me was, like, after the second game, or back-to-back games, damn, Joe Burrow is really covering up all of this. Like, these are the deficiencies that Joe is covering, just from a coaching staff standpoint, just from an everything standpoint. You would think that this team would still be able to be competitive in some of these games. They were not competitive whatsoever in the last game. Now the defense is kind of in a situation where if the offense isn't giving them anything, it's only a matter of time before that dam breaks, and they're giving up 500 yards, very similar to last year. So it's just like, this is it. I don't know. I just feel like this team has way too much talent on this team, especially you talk about a team with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, to be getting killed like this. And I mean, it's raining and pouring from all, and special teams was horrible. Like, I talked about, like, hey, special teams is gonna have to step it up. Shanking punts, 20-yard punts, penalties on like what was it, legal black in the black, like happened a couple of times where they're pinning that offense down into the 10-yard line. It was just disgusting. It was a disaster class on a team that didn't even look like an NFL team. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like they didn't even look like an NFL team on Monday night when they took the field. It didn't seem like anybody from the coaching staff really cared. There wasn't fire from the coaching staff. There wasn't accountability. And honestly, I don't understand how to look forward to any of the games coming up, especially against good teams. But I just don't understand how I could even look at it and say this version of this team has any chance to be competitive for this next stretch. Now, they're going to have to be, because if they are not, changes are going to have to be made. But it's just crazy the difference that this team has looked like from 2023 with Jake Browning to this year with Jake Browning. I don't know. Is it a Jake Browning thing? Who do you like? If you had to, obviously it's not one person to blame in this situation. Who are you pointing the finger at? Is it Jake Browning? Is it the coaching staff? Is it a combination of the players? Who are you looking at and assigning? How the hell did we get here to this point now?
Man, I mean, I guess you got to take it all the way from the top, and let's just start with like, like even like I'm not trying to pick on like a Miles Murphy or whatever, but like a first round draft pick, whether it's in the 20s, the teens, or whatever, it got to hit, and like when those that's part of the roster construction things that I think have started the whole snowballing effect of. I don't think that the Bengals, I know I'm in a minority in this. I don't think free agent wise, contract wise, retention wise, I don't think that the Bengals are a bad front office. Like I said, I understand I'm being a minority. Go do your research. Go look at other teams. Teams lose hella people every single season. That isn't really the issue. I think the Bengals had a big drafting problem that they aren't hitting on their premium picks. That's the crux of it. Then you're matching that up. Then you start to come down, a level or so. Like even like a Dax Hill is like, he's a really good talent, but to even get to where we're at now in what year 4, like those are the things that give you a mediocre roster. Like all these other teams that, like, let's say the Rams, for instance, they kind of blew it up, but then they came back with their draft picks and they hit on guys that were, maybe a little bit older, or the Byron Youngs, the Braden Fisk, and all these guys like that. They hit on those guys. And so some of the things that I would argue that the Bengals, I thought that them making a decision over Sheldon Rankins over DJ Reader, in hindsight, I don't know. DJ Reader, I mean, I'm sure he's doing well. He isn't grading well. When you watch him, he looks well. But I think our fans forget they spent a lot of money on players like that. They spent a lot of money on the Trey Waynes of the world, and they've done things free agency-wise that other teams just haven't. Like, show me a team that took a flyer on a guy like a Trey Hendrickson, and then they ended up blowing up like to that level. Like, it just doesn't happen like that. Or resurrecting the Wouzier's career, or doing all these different things. Those are the things that they do really good. But the drafting aspect of it, I think, is the bigger issue, because those picks aren't really hitting. And I can take victory laps on like late picks, like Chase Brown, Yoshi, I think is a good pick. Even a late DJ Ivy, that's a good depth pick. Tyson Anderson, good depth pick. These are good late picks, but those early picks aren't, and that's the beginning of it. So then when you formulate a whole team and you make everything, and as we're learning as we go along, Joe Burrow is like a player coach, so to speak, right? You see Jamar Chase kind of blowing up on the sideline. If Joe Burrow was there, I don't think that happens. Like, and let me rephrase that. He didn't blow up on Zach Taylor. I think he was just coming to Zach and saying, like, bro, like, what's going on? I think if Joe's there, I think Jamar takes that conversation to Joe. So the whole team is like constructed around Joe Burrow. And then so when Joe Burrow's out, now all of these things, like the coaching is the other one I just totally skipped by, is like the not hitting on premium picks and then coming up and pairing that with bad coaching, like in several spots. So, and average coaching. Like, I don't know. I don't think Al Golden's a mastermind. I think Al Golden's probably a solid piece. I think I came on the show many times and I said Lou Anarumo beating those top-notch players. I don't really care about top rankings on defense. Like, Lou Anarumo cooking Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes is more like my speed. Like, that's what I'm into. You might want a higher ranking defense. I don't know. But I don't think that really makes a difference. I think that they're both above average coaches, and I don't think that that's the problem. But the bad coaching, the bad things offensively now are rearing their head, whereas in 2023, I don't know how they got away with it. I really don't. I don't, and I'm going to tell you another thing. I think the offensive line is pretty good. I really do. I know that that's going to sound crazy to a lot of people. I think if you took those same players and put them in good systems, I think that they will cook. I think that you'll see Brandon Thorns and guys that really love offensive line play are highly, highly, highly on the side of Dylan Fairchild right now. If you go watch the tape on Jalen Rivers, that's a rookie looking pretty damn good in a system that doesn't gear towards him. I watched Ted Karras look pretty good last year, right? I watched Amarius Mims look pretty dominant last year. That's another high pick, you know. So it's all these different things. And when Joe is gone, the thing that losing does is any flaws that you have, they're now they're now like they're magnified and they're all into the light now, right? So now all of these little things that I'm kind of nitpicking and going through, I'm like, well, Mims, like, is he like, if Joe is there, I think we'd be talking about Mims a lot different. You know what I mean? Like, I think we'd be like, man, Mims look pretty solid. But because Browning played the way that he played, Mims is now kind of exposed to things that maybe Joe would have maybe got out, manipulated a pocket better, and now the tape on Mims doesn't look as strong this year, right? So it's like a domino effect of putting too much on Joe Burrow playing, which you should when you have a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, bad coaching, and then the drafting portion of it, I just think has always been like a 50-50 shot. Like, you got some good ones, you got some bad ones. The premium ones ain't really hitting like the good teams, like the Eagles, the Rams, teams that are constantly like in contention. They're hitting on those draft picks. And then the teams that aren't really hitting on them picks, like I would say the Bills, I don't think their roster's that great, but Josh Allen's healthy. And when you have a top 3 quarterback out there every single year, you're going to be in contention. And that's also another thing where we could just dumb it down. If Joe Burrow was here, I think we might be having a conversation of maybe we're not 2-2, maybe we're 3-1, maybe, right? But even if we were 2-2, we'd be like, yeah, like, all right, how we going? It's going to be a shootout with the Lions. Like, it is what it is. When you got a top 3 quarterback, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Looking at the Lions game, obviously this is going to be a tall effort for the Bengals to do because this is a Lions team that has been on fire offensively, defensively. They got DJ Reader coming back. What do you think is something that the Bengals can do to try to catch them off guard or at least make this game competitive? Not saying that they're going to win it, but what can the Bengals do to try to make this one more competitive and not as lopsided as the last 2 games?
Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a situation where I'm honestly frustrated because I felt like I tried to campaign last show for the Bengals to try to get a Jameis or Russell Wilson or somebody else. And I just don't, especially when you're seeing people like Tony Pike break down the game. And I don't know if people know this or not. Wide receivers open last week. And Jake Browning just wasn't able to get the ball to him. I think there was a little bit of being shell-shocked because, you know, with him leading the NFL in interceptions going into that week, I think he was a little scared to kind of put the ball out in situations that may be risky. So what the result of that was you got errant passes, and you got him not taking shots, and you end up seeing, like we saw, wide receivers weren't open like Jamar Chase, not being targeted. That cannot happen, I think, in this game. When it comes to the play calling, it can't be predictable again. But I just don't see a path similar to you with Zach Taylor coaching this team, with Jake Browning being the quarterback, where they seriously have any shot of winning this game. I'm surprised that the spread isn't in the double digits. I was surprised that it
It
wasn't.
is.
It moved up to that because I know before it was like 8. It started at 8. Has it moved up to the double digits?
11.
11. Yeah, I mean, I think when you announce that Jake Browning isn't going anywhere, yeah, they're gonna. We have complete faith in Jake Browning. Like, it's a joke, man. Honestly, I'm gonna say this, bro. It's a slap in the fan base's face to sit here and say that you have complete utter faith in Jake Browning based off of what we've seen the last 2 games. We don't have faith in you. We don't have faith in Jake Browning. And we need to see some kind of difference because right now, I don't understand how this team can compete with a team like Detroit. And this is crazy because this game is at home. This game is in Cincy, and I just, based off of what they did against the Vikings, based off of what they just did against the Broncos, those aren't powerhouse offenses. They are by no means known for their offense. Both of those teams are known for their defense. Detroit is known for their offense. So I just, like you said, I don't know if there's a path forward for them to be able to win that.
I don't see it. I think up front, you're going to see like a physicality level that I mean, the Bengals haven't played an offensive line that's pushing like that. Like, I've watched the line several times this year. Like, they're nasty, bro. And I think the physicality offensively, defensively up front is going to be problematic. I think if Burrow would have been there, I do think that the holes would be like in the secondary of the lines. I think that there's opportunity to get the ball to those spots, but I don't think that Browning is going to be able to get it to those guys in those spots because he's going to have very little time. Like, Aiden Hutchinson is probably playing the best ball of his career right now. So, look out for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really sad because, I just read, shout out to Mon. It was saying like, it's sad that they're not competitive. It's because in the off season, for the first time in a long time, I would say that the Bengals went all in, like, to me. Like, and it's crazy to see them like playing like this. Like, if you look at our all season versus name any team that you want, like, they didn't go and add like their Noah Fant, Slayton, and all this stuff. Like, bro, they filled in a lot, and they even got Reisner after everybody's like, I want Reisner, people like me, right? They did pretty much everything. They spent so much money on the weapons. You had to, because you can't be in the business of just letting your core players go, right? Like, the players that have gone in the past in the span of 20 years, like that's Jesse Bates, Andrew Whitworth. Those are the guys that you're like, man. But I mean, even Whitworth was like 30-something years old or whatever. But generally, they've been keeping a lot of their main guys. And I thought that they did a really good job of retaining. I thought that they did what they wanted to do in free agency. I just think that when you look at this team in the combination of what I was just talking about with those draft picks, and then I'm looking at like Zach Taylor, and I talked to you about this. I'm a delusionally confident person that doesn't really care. People watch me on the Twitter, or like on internet, Twitter. People say bad stuff about Zim all day, right? And you probably think to yourself, how does he do it? You know what I mean? Because I just don't care, and I'm just super confident in who I am, right? I think a lot of people understand that it's a good trait to have, and I think Zach is, given his background, working with, different family members and different things that he has, I think he's built up something in his mind where any chaotic situation, he believes in his mind that I got it, it's going to be fine. I've seen everything, and it's a good trait to have, right? Just like I'm saying, I'm delusionally confident in myself. Like, there's nothing you could tell me right now that would make me be like, I don't believe in myself, or going to stop me from being a Bengals fan, something like that, right? And I think Zach is in over his head and doesn't really know that he's in over his head. He doesn't understand that teams like the Lions, like I heard him, I listened to a little bit of his press conference. He was like, yeah, I look forward to like this challenge. We just lost 2 games and stuff like that. I get where he's coming from, and I'm not saying that he shouldn't have said that, but I can see in his eyes that he truly doesn't understand the mountain that is right in his face. I think that a lot of people think it's coach speak. I think he really believes that, like, when he's like, Jake Brown is our guy and stuff like that, he should be smart enough to know I need to get some plan in place, like a Jameis Winston or somebody behind me to save my butt. And he's so like, it's almost like you're watching like a house like just with a bad leak in it, and then the house just starts flooding. But Zach is just standing at the podium while the whole room is flooding, just saying like, yeah, guys, it's gonna be all right. And it's not gonna be all right, Zach. It's not. And I wish I could tell him that. Like, it's not gonna be all right. Like, you fired the defensive coordinator, you fired the offensive line coach, you fired everybody, you got rid of all the players that you didn't like. It's not going to be all right, Zach. You're on a 2-game losing streak, and you're lucky to be on that. You were lucky to win week 1. It's not going to be all right. You're statistically the worst team in the NFL offensively and defensively. It's not going to be all right. He should have got out to that podium and said, I'm fighting for my life. Like, I got to give everything I got. This press conference is holding me back right now. I got to get back to doing something because what I'm doing right now, none of that has worked. But to watch the delusion on his face, to just be like, oh, well, we just got to get rid of, like, we just got to clean up the penalties. Like, he's really crazy. He's about as crazy as me. Bro, he really, in his mind, you know, like people, you know, like I'll be like, bro, like Bengals is like, we're it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm that. Like, what are you talking about? Ocho Cinco, TJ, to an outside opinion, they're like, bro, you ain't never won no Super Bowl. I'm like, nigga, I'm lit. Corey Dillon, TJ, like, you know how, and I really feel that. And you can't tell me no different. I'm gonna give you every stat, whatever, and that person gonna be like, bro, you're a Bengals fan, you're a bum. I'll be like, bro, I'm like that. Like, what are you talking about? Zach is like that for a coach. He really thinks that he's got this, and he's so in over his head. The Lions have every single element up front that he wish he has. If the Bengals figure out a way to win this game or any game coming up, it will be on the strength of the players having historic performances and other teams falling flat on their face. It won't be because of his scheme. It won't be because of anything that he has done or orchestrated in this time frame. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I've just seen it. Like, we've all seen it. Like, it's not going to be okay, Zach. Like, your team currently right now is cooked. And you better do something very different than whatever you've done thus far.
Got super chats to read. Hippie Profit $5 super chat. Who they guys? Week by week league. 9 being gone shows where the team needs to improve. Today's compost feeds tomorrow's garden. On week mark. Shout out to you, bro. Another one here from M. Zach should have been fired last year, as I just fear another year of the Zach BS. He not built for AFC North football. Then we got another one here from Buddha. Appreciate that. Blowout incoming. Fire Zach. Don't care how good or how bad the team looks from here on out. Done with the entire Taylor era. Done. Love the show. You guys keep it up. Appreciate that, bro.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't remember when we started this show back when it was Orange is the New Black. It wasn't started out of the best circumstances. So the Bengals weren't winning games. It was a lot of tough conversations that had to be had. And I think that's why we're kind of talking about the Zach situation, because the writing is really on the wall. It is a situation where the Bengals do need to look at moving forward with whatever that is on Zach. I always thought going into the season, if the Bengals came out to a slow start, he was going to be a person that they needed to move on from. It's been weird because this is a year where the Bengals are 2-2. Right now, they currently still technically speaking, are the 6th seed. So it's not a situation. What complicates the situation is they aren't, 0-4 or 1-3. They're 2-2, and Joe Burrow has gone down. But I think it's very clear and evident that even though people see them in this position, they do not look like a team that can win that many games going forward. So we'll definitely be talking about the coaches. We'll definitely be talking about where we need to go moving forward because we've done that before. There was a time where we kind of talked about Joe Burrow needed to be the next pick of the Bengals. So as the season goes on, we'll definitely give you guys that analysis and give you guys our thoughts as it stands now. But right now, it does not look good for the Bengals. But
Let me ask you this though: what would you do currently right now? Not just the Lions game. What would you do if you were Ace Tobin? Like, what would be some of the steps that you could take?
bench Jake Browning. Let's start there. Take play calling away from Zach. Like let Dan Pitcher run the offense. Like it's disgusting, but it's like I would probably have to give the reins to Mike White. That's how nasty it is because they don't have another option on the team right now.
I
Like
got Rippin.
no, absolutely not. He's never had any kind of in-game, experience. At least Mike White has had that. It's not amazing. I mean, he beat us, but he at least has actually started a few NFL games. I just don't see it with Jake Browning, bro. And I'm sitting here and have to be here as a man and say I'm wrong. I thought that the 2023 Jake Browning, I thought it would carry over. Never once at all thought that he was on the level of Joe Burrow. I just thought that he could be a solid quarterback. Like when you see guys step in like Duck Hodges, Mitch Trubisky, these guys that just somehow get wins just because the rest of the team is good and they're just solid and they're just not losing the game. I thought that he could be that. I thought he could actually be slightly better than that for the Bengals. I thought that he could come in and be just a Kobe Brissett for the Bengals. Just a guy that could come in when you games. He's not that, bro. Like honestly, one of the things that I did say though was I was a little worried that he was more of what we saw this preseason of Jake Browning than that 2023 guy that we saw that came in. And it just doesn't work. I think you ruined him at this point. Whatever they said to him about the interceptions, if that's what I'm getting, definitely give me Mike White. I think from an offensive perspective, I get it, with the Jermaine Burton thing. At this point, I don't give a damn. I need to evaluate the roster. Like, I'm gonna have to see what Jermaine Burton can do. I know from a culture standpoint that might not be good because he's been late to some meetings and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I need to evaluate this roster. So Jermaine Burton, let's see you out there. I would probably also say on defense, yeah, like is CTB the guy or not? Like I don't like them benching CTB honestly doesn't make sense because when they put other guys out there, they're getting cooked too. So, you gotta figure out what that is. You gotta figure out from a defensive standpoint. I'm probably saying, hey, can we generate more pressure? Can we get more snaps to Miles Murphy over to Joseph Osai? Can we get more snaps to some of these other players to see what they can do? I think at this point you're in evaluation mode and you got to put some of these in. And hey, I'm even looking at a guy like Ted Karras like, hey, buddy, you've had some bad games. So, hey, Matt Lee, let's see, like if I see another game from Ted Karras where he does not look good, Matt Lee or somebody else is up. I mean, we talked about Jalen Rivers. I think Jalen Rivers, like you said, was one of the bright spots of that game. I know some PFF may not agree, but I think as Bengals fans, what we saw from Jalen Rivers in that game, it was promising. It was like, okay, well, it looks like the Bengals have their guards. The tackles struggled in that game, but the guards actually look, in my opinion, pretty solid. So I think at this point, you're evaluating what you have out there. And I think you have to do other things too. Like if I'm the GM, the Cleveland Browns are 1-3, and they're out here trading for guys like Cam Robinson. you got to go out there and trade for some of these guys. If that's a quarterback, if that's a corner that you need to sign, because clearly you don't have any of those guys. Like, if there's somebody on somebody's practice squad, you need to be signing them off of there. Like, there's just more I think that they could be doing as a front office to try to show that they're aware of the situation. Right now, it just seems like they're sitting on their hands. It doesn't seem like they know what they're doing. I think right now you obviously need a quarterback. I think right now you obviously need to check out and kick tire corners. I think that there's a couple of things, edge rushers, like there's a couple of things that they need to definitely look at, and they're not doing it right now. So for me, those are things that I would look at. I mean, the linebacker position, maybe you get Barrett Carter some more snaps just to see what he can do. But that's probably all I'll do right now. Like, this is a situation where you're in evaluation mode, but you also need to be somewhat looking like you're trying to still contend. They don't seem like that. And I'm like, that's crazy, because the Browns are delusional enough to try to shake some things up with trading for a starting tackle when their two tackles went down, throwing a rookie quarterback in there because Joe Flacco's not getting it done. Like, Joe Flacco and Jake Browning have been like the same people these last couple of games. So why not find some kind of other alternative? Like, that's my only thing. But I'm just beating a dead horse at this point with still bringing that up. But before we toss it to our partners at Midwest, what would you do if you were Zim Tobin right now?
Man, there's just so many issues with the team right now, bro. I think I would make that that Jameis call for sure. Like, that would be, I would get him in the building, and I would tell Zach, we cannot get embarrassed in these moments after we just pay all this money to T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. We just extended Ted Karras. Like, bro, the Bengals have done a lot, bro. Like, it's crazy that they've done this much and they look this bad. That's the sad part to me, is that a lot of people got paid. Like, Dax Hill 5th-year option, like all these different things that they're not talking points. BJ Hill getting signed, Mike Gesicki getting signed. Mike Gesicki hasn't got any targets like that. I watched Yoshi get 10 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons, whatever. Like, most wide receiver ones in this league don't have that. These guys aren't even getting the ball. So it's like, I would be telling Zach, like, bro, like, if we're embarrassed and we just wasted all our money on all these people, we don't have the money to just waste a season. Like, contrary to a lot of people's belief, the Bengals did go pay a lot of people. And I think that, and that's another reason why I don't feel like they can take. So if I'm the front office, I'm saying, like, hey, look, I need to see something from you. And if we're embarrassed, if you guys are fighting and y'all in the game, cool. You ain't got your starting quarterback. But if you're getting blown out 30 points or whatever, and we in prime time spots and all, we had a 4:00 game and all that stuff like that, you got to go, bro. Like, we've given you chance after chance. The quarterback has only played 3 out of 6 years, right? I'm not blaming you, Zach, but that was on your watch. So, like, it's just like anything else in America or any country, I'm sure. It's just a level of accountability. And what happens is, like, when you live and die by certain swords or whatever, or you're willing to remove people from situations like a Lou Anarumo and stuff like that, you're now forced to come back and take accountability for these different things. And that's just fair. That's not being rude. That's not being mean. It just is what it is. It's a results thing. There's no job out here in America that I was about to say something crazy. There are crazy jobs out here too. The same thing applies. Like, you can, it's performance based. If you let go of, like, certain people around you or different things in any of these industries, then there's always going to be like a guy that you got to point to and say, okay, well, this is your plan. This is his plan. And you're currently failing at your plan. And the only thing that's even making it look decent is the fact that he's 2-2. Because had he not had that, the Jake Browning drive at the end of the game, or, the just playing the worst offense, the other worst offense in Browns week 1, there's an argument he could be 0-4, right? And so to me, it would start with him. Like, I will put so much pressure on him from the front office to say, not only do I expect you to win, I need you to, if you don't win, I need all those games to be super competitive, and I don't care who we play. And I can give you grace for that. Just show me that, and then I could build off of that. But I'd be bringing in a real legit quarterback in there. I would have brought that in a week ago when me and you were on the show talking about it. Is that Jameis? Is it Russell Wilson? Is it Derek Carr? Is it Kirk Cousins? I don't care. Bring me one of those dudes. And I think the conversation of like how the team is constructed with all those weapons, you're just wasted. To me, that's the part where I do think they asked me on another show. They say, "Well, you think Zach Taylor can get fired?" And I said, "Yeah." And the reason why, I don't care about what happened in the 90s. I don't care about somebody can reference whatever. I'm just telling you what the Bengals do. The Joe Burrow era is different. You can, like, they spent all of that money on these weapons. And I just hate that people aren't seeing like what I'm seeing in that regard. Like, Mike Brown is not about to spend all that money and watch his money go down the drain. Jamar Chases of the world are only going to get angrier. They're going to say, bro, like, I am the best wide receiver in the league. Like, I'm getting 4 or 5 targets a game, 20 yards and stuff like not going for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has enough clout to do that. T. Higgins, same thing. It's not that he needs to go up and speak on it, but just from a money management thing, like, bro, he, you know, and I feel like that's why those passes started off in the game like that, where they were just taking those, you know, those deep shots to T. Higgins. They're like, bro, no matter what you do in this game, Zach, you better walk out of here with some shots, some targets to T. Higgins. I need to see where my money's going. And I just think that right now is the reason why I feel like Zach could get canned mid-season for sure. I think that's very possible. And I also think that I think Jake Browning has one more game that he looks like that. Even if Jake Browning looks like average, I still think that they're going to bring or start to have that conversation. And Zach is tied to all of that. Like, this is a Zach thing now. Like, he's come to the podium and said, Jake Brown, and I'm rolling with him and all this other stuff. So it just, you know, like, to me, it's a mess. I feel like it's it's not quite the Browns, but it is like it's just not, you know, it's not fun watching these guys play football. And I think at the end of the day, Jameis Winston's of the world or something like that are in the entertainment business as well. Like, you know, the locker room stuff, I know he's a funny guy and stuff. That's a form of entertainment. This is all entertainment. Like, nobody wants to be bored watching their favorite team. And so, like, even if the Bengals are only going to win some games, it better be some entertainment value to it to put some butts in seats. And I think that's why the quarterback conversation was. And that's what I'd be thinking. Worst case scenario, let the whole thing ride out. I think it's stupid to just flat out, we're going to suck the whole year. I think in an overall scheme of it, you'll be like, man, I'm going to get a top 5, top 10 team pick. I just watched the Chiefs get the 31st pick and get a bookend left tackle. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I only tank for a quarterback. To me, it's too many people that have a vested interest in doing well. Noah Fant didn't come here to be on some team that tank. He came here to go get a bag at his next destination. He going to be like, I don't care what y'all doing. I got to go play and go get my next bag. You know what I mean? So Dax Hill is fighting for a contract. Cam Taylor-Britt, yeah, he got benched. He's trying to put something on tape for his next team. DJ Turner is fighting for a contract. These guys can't lay down. Like, there's no room for that. And I think that the offense is the catalyst to it all. It's an offensive team. We dug into it. We could talk about the defense all we want, but we spent all the big money primarily on offense, and they got to show it all. They got to show that right now and produce on offense and start there. I think we've seen enough of Golden to know, like, bro, he's not going to blitz. He's going to stay in these looks. He's going to force him to throw tight window passes, and he's going to rely on man concepts in the back end. He's a solid coordinator. He ain't going to do nothing stupid, and it is what it is. Al Golden is literally built to keep a team under 21, 24 points while you have an offensive juggernaut score 30-plus points. Like, that's what he is. So I don't even really look at the defense like that. Give me some offensive production, and then let's go from there. And if you fail to do that, then Zach, you got to go within the next game or two, bro. Like, really, this seat is super hot, bro. Like, super hot. I'm waiting for me to wake up and Rappaport have a report that say, like, rumor is Zach Taylor's in a high, because then I know it has legs on it. But there's no way that Mike Brown and them are going to waste their money, well, all the money that they spend, and just watch what we're watching right now. No way. If you think that the Bengals are cheap, that's what a cheap person would say then. They would say, there's no way I'm wasting my money.
For sure. Let's go ahead and talk to our good friends at Midwest Best Barbecue.
Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. It's them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. It's them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins, or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. And much love to Mama T, Uno and CTB. MB's got Bengals wings, and now we just added T's. 9 to 5 winning things. Gritty for Uno wings. We say yes, Sirski now. Like Aces and be saying that T got them new wings. Only at MB's. Hot honey lemon peppers. Now you can call them T's. Hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins. Or you say number 5s. Either way, you'll be winning. It's them hot honey lemon peppers. Now they call T. Higgins. Or you say number 5.
That was nice. I ain't gonna lie.
669 Justice Court in Loveland, Ohio. Let them know Ace and Zim sent you. The one thing that you can depend on this season is Midwest Best Barbecue having some of the best wings that you'll have there. So make sure that you check them out. But before we get out of here, Zim, was there anything that you wanted to say?
No, I appreciate everybody checking this out. Make sure y'all tap into the Wincinnati pod. Make sure y'all tap into all the shows, including the Bengals Pulse. If you're watching this on Twitter, please make sure you come to Wincinnati on YouTube. We going to keep on rocking out every single week, no matter what. It is what it is. I also want to say that I believe that things can change. It is a week-to-week league. I do think that the Bengals are severely outmatched against the Lions. I'm not going to cap to you about that. But a lot of things can change. It's a long season. You never know what'll happen. I'm locked in, ready to go, ready to talk about it with you all. We're gonna lose together. We're gonna win together. We might tie together. I don't know, but we are Cincinnati no matter what. Nothing gonna stop us from trying to figure out ways to get this team like to another level and get back to winning, bro. Like, this is not good. I don't like this.
Thanks, for sure. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Wincinnati podcast. Please be sure hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, let us know what you guys think in the comments, and we will see you guys.
Go Reds!
Coming up
On the Wincinnati podcast.
Hello, world. Wincinnati. You guys are the Yoshi creators, bro.
It's a new beginning. You know what that means, right?
But I know this, the whole NFL is scared of the Bengals.